I wanted to go through the gospel, uh, first off, as a metaphor for an eternal reality. So there's this, one of the ways that you can interpret a dream is where you imagine all of the characters in the dream as yourself. And so I'm going to do that with the gospel real quick. Um, and yeah, I'll stop and make clarifications or comments as we go through. So, and a great sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and on her head a crown of 12 stars. And being with child, she cried, travailing in birth, and was in pain to be delivered. So this bit, the moon under her feet, the moon and water are both symbols of emotion. So when I was reading this, it feels like it's a woman who's giving birth, she's in pain, but she also is aligned for her thoughts and her emotions with what's going on, and she's ruling her emotions aren't ruling her. And there was seen another sign in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and on his head 7 diadems. And when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman who brought forth the man-child. And there were given to the woman 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the desert unto her place, where she is nourished for a time and half a time, from the face of the serpent. And the serpent cast out of his mouth, after the woman, water, as it were a river. And so this bit is basically the dragon is a symbol of power, but power without mastery. And the water coming out of his mouth, all the emotions that keep control of, he's pissed off at her and he's letting her have it, or case of internal stuff, might be pissed at something else and he's taking out on her. It's a form of ignorance that the archons like to throw around. So we have this Sophianic internal reality that is in control of her emotions and her thoughts, regardless of her external reality. And then you have this dragon figure who just emotions all over the place. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the river, which the serpent cast out of her mouth. And so that is, to me, the woman being grounded in reality and in herself. And so the emotions that's coming from the other figure isn't affecting her because she's already in alignment. So it basically just falls on deaf ears, essentially. And the dragon was angry against the woman and went to make war with the rest of her seed, who keep the word of God and have the testimony of Jesus Christ. So yeah, basically the dragon realizes he can't get to her. So he tries to find a better victim that he can actually affect. So Sophia in this version, or the female figure, or whatever you want to look at her as, is our internal spark of wisdom, the bit that knows what it's doing, even in the midst of the chaos of life. And then the dragon is sort of the part that's unrestrained and doesn't have everything together and like lashing out, which can literally be like lashing out, or it can be, it can be internal, like being up on yourself. Can be all kinds of things. And the thing is that while there are higher nature and our lower nature, there are also other figures. I mean, it doesn't go into detail about it, but it's not a one-for-one correlation, because sometimes one voice can be louder than the other. And but there's a story about how there's two wolves inside of you, and the one that wins is the one that beats. But like most things, it's not that there are it's more than just black and white. There's a myriad of things going on internally and externally. And sometimes the choice isn't as simple as picking the one that's yelling at you for not having done something, or the one who's telling you to go meditate. Um, you know, you might not have time, for instance, or a lot of really heavy crap might be happening. And so getting you back in alignment with yourself emotions can be extremely hard. Um, Taking a moment to center yourself and be at one with your thoughts and your emotions is something that can help. But sometimes just realizing that your mind is freaking out, and that's okay. It can help quite a bit. I remember a time years ago, I was in Seattle. I was late for a discussion lecture thing. I was lost, and I was freaking out. And because I was freaking out, I got too close to my car. I completely smashed off one of their mirrors. And I stopped. I left my note. All of that. It all got resolved later with insurance. And it turned out it all turned out fine because it turned out they had to start. But the thing is, and freaking out and giving into the freaking out didn't help anything, and it made things worse. And so whatever you can do to let your brain freak out or center yourself so it doesn't freak out and not let it control everything, the better. We all have our own versions of it. Not always as straightforward as the metaphor or the story I just told. Sometimes it's a lot more delicate or a lot more ambiguous, or it might be as simple as there's just a voice that's kind of muffled in the back of your brain telling you you're not good enough. That's has figured out how to word it so you don't even realize it's there anymore. And sometimes our thoughts happen so fast that we don't realize the thought caused the emotion at the first place. And so if you can catch the thought first, great. But if you can't, using your emotions as a barometer for, okay, something isn't right, I need to take a moment, even literally just a moment. Try and bring things back together better. So hopefully that's at all helpful. With that, go in peace, and may the lady walk with you.